I tell you, another juicy reading. As we reach the end of the month, we're definitely going to want to join the live. If you haven't subscribed, please do. There's an 8-day limit for all the lives. Very separately, we're going to be having lives that are open to the public. That will be energy reads, and they will be for all. But the benefits of joining our twin flame updates for the joint connection do reap the perks. Very separately, this content can be received a week ahead of the crowd. As you may have noticed, a lot of shifts schedule-wise due to the fact that we have a limitation of posts we're allowed to do a day. And so we're trying to find ways to be able to give you that content with the notifications coming through. So if you haven't clicked the bell, please remember to. Now, I have selected a ruin cast for Divine Masculine, and this energy is quite profound this week. Now, there was a huge shift last week, and some of them can still be going through it at the end of the month, moving through into December. So, yes, this energy can roll over into the first week, but we'll have another update by then. I do feel with the crowning energy and with the ruin cast I was quite perplexed, to be perfectly honest. But we'll get into that in a moment. I'm seeing one download I got psychically was wanting to get fit, wanting to boss up, really maybe feeling quite frustrated. Some especially maybe because we're having transit shift around, so come through for the energy. It's like bossing up, but I feel that, wherever they were directly feeling as though they were needing to really get over something that was really nagging at them, I think some of them might have felt that like they went in where angels fear to tread. Now we're going to get into the first row. And yes, apologies, this is a bit blurry, but it's a channeled message. So listen to the update. I'm looking at the first row, and I feel they have reached a revelation that we do need to think before we leap. They have really reached that. And they also have realized to a degree that some things were not meant to be. I do feel this revelation in the heart of it, like guilt relating to bad luck, guilt relating to where they didn't use their power. Also, withholding energy from individuals and being protective and maybe needing to look after themselves a little bit better. I do feel some of them are really bossing up. Particularly, it could be because of the Mars, Chiron, and Aries transits and Jupiter transits. I particularly was seeing an energy of a workout, which is thus the reason why the banner will be a workout image. I'm feeling they're having this new chapter in its self-discovery. I do feel where it does come to divine feminine, I do feel they're having this revelation that they've got to, they're realizing an ugly truth in a circumstance, especially with this card right near their faces, like, beauty. It's seeing that beauty is only skin deep, but it's not that they don't feel divine feminine's attractive. They may have dealt with quite an ugly truth inside themselves, maybe towards behavior. This could have been some candid conversations, which we'll go into clarifiers. But before we go any further, let's read the ruin cast. So this week in the mix, moving from November into December, makes sense. Like I said, I was seeing all this Mars energy. It links to fire, ash. Okay, it's the ruin cast of joy. They're definitely going to see where they're not happy. I feel this is in, how they rush around angels fear to tread, having courage, protecting themselves, looking after their wellness, being their truth, being bold. And also, I think this is a very wise divine masculine. I do feel, initially for a couple of days, I feel in the fourth week, there can be these niggles, these insecurities that can come up, but they're still throwing caution to the wind. And I think this is a very positive thing. I feel they're trying to let water go off a duck's back, because we do know that, we may be finding that things might be not going according to plan, but they're having a revelation that it doesn't mean to say that they're not lovable, that they're not worthy. Things take time. So it's a commitment which was coming through last week, to making sure that they're following through and that they're going to get these things back on track. Now, the ruin cast is connecting to joy, celebration, success, reward, harmony, family, tribe, emotional release, inner connectedness, spiritual well-being, universal family. And I'll interpret this relating to the cards because I already was getting a message and I felt this ruin cast was very relevant. Disconnection, loss of faith, degeneration of social unit. Particularly on a team or tribal level where the bonds between us are honoured and embraced. When reversed, we are warned of the threat to the cohesiveness of the group. We must hold hard to what we have worked hard for with our fellows to keep things together, keeping the faith. Now, what do I think this is meaning? I do think this week, especially if Divine Masculine jumped through, came towards Divine Feminine, there's 3 storylines coming through. Am I going to go back to the cards when I can find them and try and not make the same mistake I made last time, which was shoving another, deck on top of it? What I'm seeing here in the mix is Divine Masculine. I do feel it's that recovery, coming to terms with things, this acceptance, maybe a bit of guilt coming up, regrets of not using their power correctly. So could this be in relation to a karmic? Yes, it could be. It could be, good gosh, what did I see in this situation? Expectations can be coming up. I definitely, and I dread to think why my guides keep mentioning Christmas, and I'm a little bit wary about this the closer we're getting to it. So I'm really going to sit with them over the next week, and I'm going to do a channeled energy relating to that time. And I think I may actually do a card reading, because the cards in the twin flame energy and what they're being showing me is something to do with the shift happening around that time. And I do know closer to that time, we're definitely having Mercury going retrograde at the end of the month. So this is going to be a very, very interesting time, especially where it relates to tradition. I'm seeing that there for some is regrets to do with what they did to you, regrets to do with their power, their healing, making themselves happy. I feel they're feeling with this ruin cast. It's like, look, my happiness counts too. I'm happy to work. There's no I in team. That really rings a bell. It's like looking at life and going, okay, which mountain are we wanting to die on? And I think, this has been a long time coming, and I feel that they're kind of looking at it from the second row. You're looking up close up. Something's happening very quickly. They may not know quite what's going to happen, but there's this real draw towards Divine Feminine. And so be it they're in communication with you or not, it's like this pull. And even though there's a fair base frequency, it's really dragging them forward. And they know there's a heck of a mountain ahead of them. But they have this huge draw towards you. They could also be getting psychic attacks, especially if they're already left the karmic. The psychic attacks can be coming from the karmic because they're really tuning in very heavily to this individual. But I do feel they're like, no matter what, that it feels almost like the umbilical cord on the back is getting pulled, but they're directly moving forward, and they're really having that courage to address these areas. Now, could there be breakups in family? At a foundational level, there are some kind of surrounding energies to do with traditions, connections. They're looking at it like, look, the gods must be crazy, or I'm going crazy because it's not resonating with me. In a way, they're saying to themselves, I'm crazy, I didn't choose this path in the first place. I do feel in the new month, because we're getting the outcome card as rabbit, rabbit. And this is to do with their health, their wellness, where they thought they were supposed to be this year. It's funny because the card breaks down to a 6, which this year is a vibration 6, right? I feel that they're looking at it. This can be something that happens very quickly. This can be hurried Mars energy, a notion to move forward, the courage to move forward, the courage to address these areas. I also feel there's some sense of a spiritual test that in the mix, this reflection, this time away from you has really caused them to reflect upon this. I do feel for a while they wanted to make everyone happy, and I feel they kind of had a revelation. You've taught them something. This has really challenged them to find their inner truth, to find where their happiness is. Sometimes we can really feel the karmic cycle as a competition, really. But when we step back, it's a little bit like we're resigning in a house, right? I don't even know if that's the correct terminology. We're living in a house. And this ruin cast is really saying, yeah, but, is that energy, is that vibration making you happy? It takes two to tango, and I do feel there could particularly be this expectation they're placing on their heads, and they're saying, gee, it was my job to get that right. I feel they're coming through with this to do with divine feminine. I do feel if there's been a bit of hiccups, especially for those of you in communication this week, it's really cutting them. It's really hurting them. They're really critiquing themselves at the moment, but they particularly could be taking on board what you've said. These can be wounds relating to third-party energies. These can be insecurities and pain body experiences. The adversity that divine feminine has gone on the path, experienced on the path. I do feel they're challenging those areas. And I'm especially seeing from the cards in the second row. This mountain card, knowing that you are protected as you face challenges, but remaining cautious. I feel they're very protective of you. I feel they're fiercely protective, and they won't let anyone hurt you. It's funny because you can really have tips within twin flame path. But if the shoe was ever turned, they're deeply, deeply protective of you. I do feel our oversoul and our guides prevents us from going too far, and that's not to say we don't get hurt, don't get cheated on, don't have those things, but there's a certain energy where you do end up being the victim. It's lessons between you that are joint, right? Generally connected to a past life. I always said I was a terrible man in the past life. I looked at my birth chart, I laughed at myself, especially because a lot of my patterns came through in my twin, and so it was like the roles were swapped. I feel that they're being cautious, they're being protective, they're not wanting to hurt you. They could be second guessing themselves, but they're being cautious and they're still moving up that mountain. I'm noticing the lights on this mountain, and I feel they're cautiously optimistic, but there's a huge draw and a huge love. This temptation energy is the first time it's come through that it's the joint connection. It's almost like daydreamy, really, really daydreamy. It's like almost the full card in tarot, maybe being silly, jumping in the deep end, going, oh, it'll be okay, and it's kind of that notion. Meanwhile, the car's coming. And you slip on a banana, or the water comes by and splashes you in the face, that kind of notion, because this person's really in daydream land. They're making reference to an outfit. I feel this is a very unique download. They're making reference to an outfit. They actually find you deeply tempting. There could be something that they've looked at, something that they liked you to wear, a preference that they have, but they're making reference to an outfit. They're inspired by how you actually deal with challenges and how you contain individuals that are very toxic. They're like, how are you able to do that? I'm hearing the term the sleeping dragon is waking up. I feel you're coming through in their dream states. I'm really getting a lot of energy coming off this temptation card. I do particularly feel it's a spiritual energy, like you're calling them in. But definitely there's a change here. I do feel for those of you that are already in communication, I get this feeling that they're really protective of you. They're making big plans. They're looking to happiness. They know what's happened in the past. They know, what they're going through, maybe having karmic consequences associated to it. But in the ultimate goal, they're seeing that their happiness, both with you is key. Now, I do feel some of them are also coming to terms with, there's some that are a little bit behind. Feel free to book a reading. The link will be below. I totally forget to say that. There are YouTubers, obviously, that do actually provide readings. Sometimes we do go to channels and we don't know if they do or don't. So FYI, yes, I do. If you need someone, I can channel that energy. If you're needing that inner guidance to do with where your twin's at and how it's transitioning. I feel there could be a pocket group of individuals this week that are trying to come to peace with the fact that they've left a circumstance, and there could be a bit of nervousness, even though the draw and the love is still there for you. So if it has gone a little bit quiet, don't freak out, for those of you that message directly lands, because I do see this person as just accepting the fact that they're moving towards you and they're accepting who they are and they're ready. Now, if you do want to join the members, you do need to via the computer. Very separately, we are live every Friday, and I will see you for the December update. And stay tuned for our newsletter. Feel free to come through to the website and join, and I'll see you soon.